Man, sometimes as readers, we forget that our favorite authors love to steal styles, themes, and ideas from other authors. And this is okay most of the time because if you do it in a very light or mimicking way, you're really just standing on the shoulders of someone that you admire. And that is just continuing on a lineage. That's beautiful. But when do we cross the line of plagiarism? And as we move forward in the writing world, plagiarism and stealing other authors' ideas is going to get worse and worse because more people are publishing books every single year and less people are reading books. The market is shrinking. We are also less happy, less intelligent, and less healthy than ever. So when we have this new class of writers who are under extreme duress because of technology and capitalism and the image that they need to create in the world, they want results fast. But when you look at someone like Cormac McCarthy or the greats that I see that are on these shelves behind me, they spent decades acquiring their craft, and it started in childhood. It started with a slow childhood out in nature, in private schools, with schools, in a school with a teacher that actually cares about you, and with two parents who read to you every single night, with no other option for entertainment other than maybe the radio and books. For instance, when Cormac McCarthy was in high school, his family probably didn't have a TV. So how are these new writers going to, bridge that gap? They want to write like McCarthy, and if they can, that will make them money. But there are less opportunities than ever for publishing contracts, so they start to steal. And we're about to look at an example of this right now that is just very apparent. So we're about to now view a passage from Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian and a passage from William Anker's Red Dog. And this is an outright steal here. So first is William Anker. Like a horde from hell, more aberrant even than the fire and brimstone land of Christian reckoning, gurgling and shrieking, clothed in smoke like those phantoms in regions beyond certainty, and sense where the eye wanders and the lip shudders and drools. And here's McCarthy. Like a horde from a hell more horrible yet than the brimstone land of Christian reckoning, screeching and yammering, and clothed in smoke like those vaporous beings in regions beyond right knowing, where the eye wanders and the lip jerks and drools. I'm gonna leave this here for 1 second. You can pause this if you need to. This is 100% of plagiarism, everybody. I would say that this is 100% crossing the line. So why do authors do this? Well, first of all, if we look at Red Dog, this was a book that was translated into English. So when you are in a foreign country, you can expect, at least for a while, that you can get away with a lot of this. I can't believe they didn't have a plagiarism checker for that novel. That's like a simple Google search away from red flagging. But the American audiences didn't care either because it was translated into English, got a second edition, and also was nominated for an International Booker Prize. So the psychological reason, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, that authors love to steal from Cormac McCarthy is that he represents the rugged, individualistic, masculine, and logical mindset that a lot of people want to have. The Cormac McCarthy community has a lot of men in it. The booktube community in general has more women than men, but 90% plus of my viewers are female. If you're a woman, comment down below. This channel has had like 1,000 plus comments on Cormac McCarthy related material, and I could say 3 to 5 have been women that I at least know about. So Cormac represents this myth of American exceptionalism that a lot of people want. We see this all the time for the yearning for the strong male figure, Donald Trump, Andrew Tate, like whatever shock jock is like putting out some form of soul retrieval, or the whole hippie movement. You guys know what I'm saying. So Cormac McCarthy is an ideal person to steal from. And why wouldn't you steal from someone who doesn't make public appearances, who's not going to take you to court, not going to come out and say anything? Imagine if this book was huge and had sold millions of copies. Can you imagine Cormac McCarthy coming out and making a statement and saying, William Anker, you have taken direct lines and seen from my book Blood Meridian. So there's really almost no liability or risk from stealing from Cormac. The only thing that could maybe happen to you is you get called out for your plagiarism, but that's actually already after you've achieved success, and most common readers aren't going to see that. That's going to be like a very infighting meta audience that even cares about that type of stuff. So I'd like to ask you guys, the audience now, when does that line get crossed? When does that line of plagiarism get crossed? Because obviously Anker crosses it here. But if I steal, well, let's say I'm going to write a novel, and it's going to be a Southwestern novel, and it's going to be a little bit, let's say it's set in 1900, and it's about this violent group of criminals running around, but they're like archetypal figures. There's that relate to the tarot. There's like the Fool and the Empress. And I do a third person omnipotent, and I don't use that many pronouns, and it's all kind of stream of consciousness. But it has nothing to do with like blood meridian, or doesn't steal any of the scenes or direct language. Is that wrong? Would you say yes or no? Maybe not wrong, but am I stealing from Cormac McCarthy, or am I just inspired? Am I just a hack job? This line it's really cool to talk about because writing is so meta and so concrete that you can eventually tell. Because if like you look at like a song's like 2 or 3 minutes. So like artists always steal each other's styles and songs. You know, like when Young Lean, you guys don't know who Young Lean is, came out with Ginseng Strip in 2009 or whatever, the rap changed completely, and like SoundCloud and the weird trippy sound just came out of nowhere and took over rap. But everyone was stealing each other and their flows and the beats and the style. But it's all good because you can just make a new style and a new beat and a new song really fast, but you can't make a whole new book within a reasonable amount of time. So just to circle back to like those main psychological reasons, I find it very sad that things have become so competitive in the writing community. I've been a victim to this many times. I have felt a deep amount of shame or inadequacy when I haven't won writing contests or got fellowships, and I've seen other people who I know I'm better than, but then when you say the word better, that's already a competition. When you are better or worse, you're putting yourself into the frame of a competition. And I feel like it's really hard for like artists, like I'm a writer, I'm trying to eventually be as good as Cormac McCarthy, 6 decades down the road. That's like a dream. Who knows if it will be realized? It's hard for us to understand any other mindset because that's all we know. All we know is capitalism. We've never got to experience that innocent age of writing where you just do it for fun. And there is no university system to help you or anyone to actually read you. There is no Instagram and fame. You're not gonna gain that much, you know, if you become an author back in the day. But now, if you're a male author, and like I said, a lot of these people who are stealing and like being hyper competitive, unfortunately, are male, and you sell a book and it gets you, sells a couple 100,000 copies, and you kind of get thrust into the small spotlight. You are now an introvert who can get laid almost at will, as long as you're not like really weird. You've now shut up all of your family. You've done all these things, and it feels so close. Like it feels so close to a lot of writers. I've felt like so close to that before, like when I've been working on things and like when I've been at the like weird points in my writing journey, like, man, if I just get this book down, if this can just get published, like I can have everything taken care of. I'm in poverty. I don't have a girlfriend. No one respects me. Oh, just finish this novel and that can change overnight. And it does for some people. But that mindset is the exact opposite of what produces good art in the long run. And it's pretty hard to disconnect from that when you live in a city, because all you see when you leave your house every day is lack. All I see when I look at my bank account is a minuscule amount of money. And I've dedicated myself to books, to literature, and the market is dying on me. There are less opportunities. I may not make it. If I start a gaming channel right now and dedicate the same amount of time I do to writing, reading, and making these videos, I will be set for the rest of my life within a year or two. So these are a few of the reasons I think that people love to plagiarize and steal from Cormac McCarthy. And I have a crazy story for you guys about the deepest dive I ever went into Cormac McCarthy, and that's where I wrote Blood Meridian by hand. I'm gonna tell you guys that story right over here.